se grunja shvallëzore, në një kopësh të vigjun që shi, ti kalici mu gjite sjellove, si një varë që qefin sta pri, ti kalici mu gjite sjellove, si një varë që qefin sta pri, ti kalici mu gjite sjellove, si një varë që qefin sta pri, ti kalici mu gjite sjellove, si një varë që qefin sta pri. La 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 la. Por së di se që është brenga, ti mu fale për shpirtin së mangro, për me të flove të tu ka qurela, dikush tjetër të thot mos m'haro, për me të flove të tu ka qurela, dikush tjetër të thot mos m'haro, për me të flove të tu ka qurela, dikush tjetër të thot mos m'haro, për me s'flove të tu ka qurela, dikush tjetër të thot mos m'haro. La 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 më mirë të tjerë udhëtarë, se unë s'dua të talem të lot, mos më bëj të qaj si marë, duat me të t'i gjako, mos më bëj të qaj si marë, duat me të t'i gjako, mos më bëj të qaj si marë, duart me të t'i gjako, mos më bëj të qaj si marë, duart me të t'i gjako, duart me të t'i gjako, duart me të t'i gjako.
Con mi pena, solava mi condena, correr es mi destino, por llevar el papel, perdido en el corazón de la grande Babilón, me di sene clandestino, io soy el quebrale. I cannot go forward, I cannot return. The land in front don't want me, watch the land behind me burn. I'm stranded on the sea with my own family, nowhere to return to, nobody waiting for me. Solo voy con mi pena, sola va mi condena. Correr es mi destino, por no llevar papel, dilo nel corazón de la grande Babilón. Dice clandestino, yo soy el quebrale. Lai, la, 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 la. Lai, 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 la, 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 la. La, 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 la. I cannot go forward, I cannot return. The land in front don't want me, watch the land behind me burn. I'm stranded on the sea with my unknown destiny. No one to return to, nobody waiting for me. Solo voy con mi pena, sola va mi condena. Correr es mi destino, yo soy el quebraré. Don el corazón de la grande Babilón. Dice el clandestino por no llevar papel.
Thank you. We are Bondeku and then we are multicultural in Portland, Maine. Thank you. And then we did our recording music in Albania. I'm original from Guinea, West Africa, but the language Albania, I love it, it's Osmonega. So I hope you can help us with this song. Osmone, Osmone, Osmonega. Yalla 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 yalla, hide martial law. I hope you can get the lyrics from us. O smone ga, yalla 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 yalla, hide martial law. That means you are going and then you will come back, inshallah. Thank you.
No te di tu piraki, Osmonaga, Osmonaga, Tianini, Osmonaga. No te di tu piraki, Osmonaga, Osmone, Osmone, Osmonaga. Yalla yalla
yala yala yala, haydi maşallah. O Simone, o Simone, o Simonaga. Yala 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 yala, haydi maşallah.
Piraki mosudi o Simonaga. Çoemenini jifane o Simonaga. Piraki mosudi o Simonaga. Çoemenini jifane
O Simonaga. O Simone, o Simone, o Simonaga. Yala 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 yala, haydi maşallah. O Simone, o Simone, o Simonaga. Yala 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 yala, haydi maşallah.
Simonaga, tuya kotus asiciare
O Simonaga.
Herme pare, herba pare o Simonaga, tuya kotus asiciare
O Simonaga. O Simone, o Simone, o Simonaga. Yala 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 yala, haydi maşallah. O Simone, o Simone, o Simonaga.
Hey yala 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 yala, haydi maşallah. Hey haydi maşallah, hey haydi maşallah, hey haydi maşallah. Thank you.
We're Bandeko, thank you so much. And see us in a few minutes over there.
We good, Aaron.
Good evening, everybody. That was awesome. A huge round of applause for Bondenko. I think I'm going to take up an instrument and join the band next year, so I too can be one of the coolest people in the room. That was just awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your talents. Yay! I'm going to encourage everybody to come in and take a seat if you haven't already. We're going to start the program, and we're going to try to keep it brief so we can keep it to socializing after. My name's Quincy Hensel. I'm the CEO of the Portland Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a very proud board member of ProsperityME, and it's my honor to welcome you all tonight and to thank you all for joining us for this year's block party. So my role tonight is going to be brief. I promised Claude brief. And I'm going to share just a little bit about ProsperityME, why we are here this evening. And again, I'm going to be brief because there's going to be others that will follow me that will shed a little more light on the great work that ProsperityME does in the community. So I think by now most of you know that ProsperityME was founded in 2008 by Claude Regange, who I think everyone in the room knows Claude. Hands down, one of my favorite people. Claude's a refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And Claude's vision for what ProsperityME could become and has become has truly transformed the lives of so many people. Claude himself has become such an integral part of our community, a leader who has fought for immigrants and refugees who have chosen to make Maine their home. And Lucky Me has become a very trusted friend and confidant, and for that I am incredibly grateful. Now, for those of you who don't know much about Prosperity Maine, I'm going to give you a very high-level overview because I think it's important we all know why we are here and what we are celebrating. What most people do know are the financial literacy classes that they provide. Now, financial literacy is essential, and it's often a missing skill for new immigrants who have come to Maine. They've come from countries who have cash-based economies. They lack an understanding about the US financial system, so these classes are absolutely critical. So in the 12 years since they launched their first course, Prosperity Maine has provided over 300 classes and programs that have helped over 5,000 immigrants, refugees, and asylees. And it has helped them to start understanding their own financial well-being and to start to build a life here in our country and in our state. Prosperity Maine also began the Housing Navigator program in 2017, which came directly out of the role the organization played as administrator of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which that program alone helped over 2,000 families. The Housing Navigator program does what it sounds like it would do, and that is it provides needed support and guidance for families who are struggling with housing stability and homelessness. Now, in terms of obtaining education goals, Prosperity Maine launched the Prosper Scholarship Program, which helps asylum seekers obtain an associate's degree or a vocational certificate at a community college or a public university in Maine. The scholarship covers tuition, books, and fees, and it goes towards a 2-year associate's degree. It also offers logistical supports, encouragement, and helps recipients really build a network so that they can either continue their education or go and find a job. And I'll just add that most recently, Prosperity Maine played an incredibly important role in addressing the housing crisis that was facing the recently arrived asylum seekers, many of them who ended up at the expo. Claude and the entire team at Prosperity Maine quickly became leaders on this issue, working tirelessly, and when I say tirelessly, I mean 24/7 around the clock, working with the municipalities, working with the asylum seekers themselves, who were all here and who were looking for housing. So Claude and the entire team at Prosperity Maine, a round of applause for the work you did with the asylum seekers. It was truly amazing to see what they did coming together with the community, so thank you for that, Claude. Where Prosperity Maine leads in all of these areas, they're not left to do the work alone, and Claude and his team have just become incredible partners with many, many, many organizations, including the Portland Chamber, addressing the needs of the community. So again, they've just become such an important part of the fabric of the greater Portland area of the state of Maine and have really made an incredible impact on the people who use your services. So with that, I've barely scratched the surface of what Prosperity Maine does, but again, as I mentioned, there's people following me who are going to add more and share their own stories around how Prosperity Maine has impacted them. Before we move to the next part of the program, I do have a few people that I want to thank. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Our lead sponsor is Hannaford Supermarkets. Our platinum sponsor, Safe Residential Care. Our diamond sponsors are Atlantic Federal Credit Union, Gorham Savings Bank, JP Morgan Chase, the Maine Credit Union League, MEMIC, Norway Savings Bank, and Planson International. And to all of the additional generous sponsors, I know they can be found in your program, a huge thank you for supporting tonight's event. We would also like to thank our funders who provide us with generous and much needed support throughout the year. Our board members, if you are on the board of Prosperity Maine, would you please stand or raise your hand if you are standing? I know you're here. They are such an incredible and dedicated group who have really put a ton of time into the organization, providing governance and leadership as Prosperity Maine moves forward. So a huge thanks to the board and our staff. So we cannot do what we do at Prosperity Maine if we did not have the tremendously talented and dedicated staff. If you are a member of the Prosperity Maine team, would you please stand or raise your hand? They're over there. The team is simply awesome, and it's amazing to see the work that they're actually able to do. They are small but mighty, and they get the work done. So I can't thank the staff enough for what you do on a daily basis. Thank you. And finally, thanks to all of you who showed up tonight on probably the nicest night we've had in a really long time. So thanks for coming into the warehouse and celebrating with us. It's so great to have you here, and I really look forward to the rest of the presentation. With that, it is my great pleasure to invite to the stage Bright Musamba, who is going to introduce the next portion of the program.
Good evening, everyone. Could my panelists please join me on stage? Welcome to Prosperity Maine's 15th. Should I put my sunglasses on? Okay, I think we're good. Welcome to Prosperity Maine's 15th annual block party. My name is Bright Lukusa, and I'm the Financial Stability Specialist and Pure Workforce Navigator. This past year, Prosperity Maine has accomplished so much, and yes, I know we say that every year, but it truly is true. It is astounding how much we are able to accomplish every year with your help. This year, we raised more money than ever for the Scholarship Fund, served over 2,000 families with the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and increased access to unemployment insurance and workforce development for new Mainers by 33%. And with that, it is my honor to host this year's panel with three very accomplished individuals who have a strong connection to Prosperity Maine's vision and mission and who are pillars of prosperity. So welcome to Ninette Irabaruta, Andy Berenzi, and Julie Kambali. So Ninette, I would like to get started with you. Could you please introduce yourself, your name, country of origin, how long you've been in Maine, and how you came to encounter Prosperity Maine?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Ninette Irabaruta.
Country of origin, how you encountered Prosperity Maine.
Okay. All right, let's start. Okay, Ninette Irabaruta, originally from Burundi. I landed in Maine in January of 2012. And I encountered Prosperity Maine. He's laughing, I can't even finish. Back in that month, because I went to GA, where most of asylees go. That is our first contact. And when I was there, I was given an opportunity to go to ILAP to see if I can find help there. And at that time, Prosperity Maine was in the same building as ILAP. And I see these tall men in the building. And the first thing he said was bonjour, like he knew right away that I spoke French. So that's how I encountered Prosperity Maine through Claude Guangandre.
That's awesome, I love that. Can you share with us a little more about how you connected with Prosperity Maine and what you would like somebody to know about your experience accessing our services?
Sure. So when, in that time, I would say I did have some time because I was learning English. I was put in classes to learn English. But at the same time, I wanted to do more just going into class and learning English. So there were opportunities at Mercy Hospital where you can learn English but also learn the medical language in English, and also the financial education. Mm-hmm. So when I find out about the financial education, I did sign up. I was with some other friends who knew already about the program, and when we started, it was really fun to be in that class, because in the end, most of the people were in that class were from the region I come from. So it was fun to talk about our past, how we got to where we were in the moment, but at the same time to have this opportunity through someone who came before us and started something. So we saw ourselves in Claude's organization and ProsperityME.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, taking part in the basic money management course, I hear it all the time from people who take part in it. They say how impactful it is, especially when taken at the beginning, when they just arrive, to help them in their growth in the country. So I really agree with that. I resonate with that. And what would you say has been the one piece of knowledge that you have gained through the classes that you use constantly and that remains relevant in your life?
Budgeting. Budgeting has been really something I took away, because it's not just here in the States. Even where I come from, we didn't really learn about financial education, how to budget your money. Everything that is involved in life goes around money. Mm-hmm. And without that education, it's really easy to be lost. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, what I took from that class was the budgeting piece of it. How do you plan? It doesn't matter if you have much or less. If you are smart about it and know how to budget whatever you have, then you're gonna make it work. And I use what I learned back then to now, and I have 2 degrees. I worked full-time, went to school via budgeting, and life continues. Even today, with the marketing crisis we are in, some of us, I still use that, because it's really important, at least for me, to say, okay, I am here, I have a family here, but also I have family back home that I still have to support. So knowing how to budget what I have so that I can share it between my family, it's really important for me. So that's what I took away.
Wow, very, very powerful. Thank you. I must say it's interesting for Nanette to say that budgeting is the one thing that has stuck with her all these years, because for me, it's my favorite topic to teach for basic money management, and it truly is so important because, like she said, having those skills can allow you to do so much in your life through so many different situations. Now we're gonna move on to our second panelist, Andy. Andy, could you please introduce yourself, your name, country of origin, how long you've been in Maine, and how you came to encounter ProsperityME.
Thank you, Bright. First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Andre Birenzi. I go by Andy. That's at least what many people call me. I'm originally from Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, and I grew up in Burundi since I was 7. In December 2016, my siblings and I got relocated to the United States through a United Nations Refugee Resettlement Program. We got relocated to Nashua, New Hampshire in 2016, and I'm happy to say today that I'm a US citizen and I got to vote last year. Thank you. Thank you. Professionally, I hold the title of Senior Director of Enterprise Systems in IT department at Borden College, where I've been working for the last almost 7 years now. And my role revolves around supporting the educational mission through the strategic application of technology solutions. How I came to encounter ProsperityME, kind of similar to Ninette. After moving to New Hampshire, one of my biggest dreams, at the same time my biggest concern, were around how to pursue my career. I had 2 years of experience as a software engineer from Burundi, and I had a bachelor's degree in software engineering. So I was looking for connections and ways to pursue my career, and that's how I ended up connecting with Claude, and through Claude, I came to encounter ProsperityME.
Awesome. So can you tell our audience a little bit about what it has meant for you to have the mentorship, resources, and networking opportunities from ProsperityME? How has that shaped your life since being in the US?
Thank you for the question. Maybe to reply to that question, I want the audience to picture that you have a situation where you need to relocate to another part of the world. It could be mostly, let's think outside the US, in another continent, where you have zero friends, no relatives, and you need to learn a new language, a new culture, and a new way of doing things. That's what many of us, as we come to the US, deal with. And that was me in 2016 when I moved to Nashua. I had no family members in Nashua, New Hampshire. I had no friends, so I had to start all over to look for ways to pursue my career and my aspirations. And I would say at that time, as I mentioned, that's when I connected with Claude, because I was trying to reach out to a number of people to see if I can pursue my education. And I would say Claude was one of the few people who told me it is possible, you can do it. And that made a huge difference, because many people, at least, that come through this process, we presented with manufacturing job as the entry-level job or like the go-to job. But many of us also have aspirations. We have dreams, and we have experience coming to this state. So after connecting with Claude, he didn't stop short by just encouraging me. He asked me to provide my resume. And many thanks to a number of extensive connections that ProsperityME has in Maine and around the state. So he passed my resume around to a number of organizations, one of them being Borden College. It happened that Borden College was looking for an application programmer, and that was a couple of months after I got to the state. So they did reach out. I went through a very long interview process. For people who are who knows Borden, it's tough to get in. So I went through a long interview process, and I got the job. That's how I ended up coming to Maine. And from there, I went from application programmer to software engineer, to senior software engineer, to associate director, and now the senior director of the team that I've been part of for the last 7 years. Thank you. So I would say the connections that Prosperity has, the resources, training that it provides have made a huge positive impact to my life personally, because it played the role of bridging the gap. Because many of us, when we come to this country, the biggest piece that we miss is lack of information. We don't know what we don't know. So Prosperity was able to provide that connection, or at least the introduction, in a way that made a huge difference in my life and helped me to achieve my dream, my career aspirations. And the one thing that we mentioned, I had the privilege in the last couple of years to lead a group of young immigrants in Greater Portland, a group between 30 and 40, mostly as informal way to help newcomers, especially immigrant young men and women, to be integrated and get the support. And we invited Claude a number of times to talk to those young men and women about financial literacy, scholarships available through Prosperity and in Maine. Again, going back to providing the information, because that's what many new Mainers lack. And the feedback that I got from those young men and women was amazing. It was so revealing to know how much information they didn't have access to, or at least they didn't know. And one of them, actually being my sister-in-law, she's now pursuing her nursing degree through a scholarship that she got through Prosperity.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow. Truly incredible how Prosperity Maine continues to be a hub, a place of resources, connections for people in the community. We do one-on-one financial counseling. We're able to connect people to jobs, training, and education opportunities through the Peer Workforce Navigator project. So it's just incredible to hear these testimonies and see real life people being impacted by the work that we're doing. Amazing. And just lastly, Andy, how has the work that you've done with Prosperity Maine intersected with your passion for serving your community?
Thank you. So, as I mentioned through my story, my passion is around technology. That's what I do. And after settling down in my job, I started doing part-time consulting, mostly for small businesses, startup, and medium-sized businesses in Maine. ProsperityME being one of them. During COVID, when everybody was trying to figure out what to do in a new norms, one of the consulting work that I did with them was to convert the class registration from a manual form where they needed to come in the office, fill out a form, to an online platform where they can fill out, and then the staff will get an email. My understanding is that made a huge difference during COVID, and it keeps doing it. For me, it's a way of using my skills and my passion to make a difference in Maine and give back to organizations like Prosperity, but as well as contributing to Maine economy and being a good contributing member of the community. Thank
and the
you.
web form has helped us sign up so many people. Yes, the web form has helped us sign up so many students for the basic money management class. So this is just a plug for you and anybody else you know to sign up for our classes. And lastly, we have Julie. Julie, could you please introduce yourself, your name, country of origin, how long you've been in Maine, and how you came to encounter Prosperity Maine?
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Before I say anything, I just want to compliment everyone. You guys look really beautiful. And unlike me, in my field, in my career, we always say it's a beautiful day to save lives. Mm-hmm. So we don't really have a day off in between clinicals, so I couldn't dress well, but I'm here. Thank you. So my name is Julie Kambali. I'm originally from Rwanda. I've been in Maine for 11 years. And
how you came to encounter Prosperity Maine?
I came to encounter Prosperity Maine through one of my tutors at SMCC, my English tutor. Her name is Liz Harvey. I don't know if she's here, but if she's not, I got to encounter Prosperity Maine through her.
All right, awesome. So you were one of the first year recipients of Prosperity Maine's Prosper Scholarship. How has having access to tuition funds impacted and changed the course of your life?
So I first applied as the first recipient, and unfortunately, I did not get the scholarship the first time, but persistency is key, so I reapplied, and finally, I got to be granted the scholarship. But that's not it, because I got the scholarship towards my last year at SMCC, so I had all this amount of money, but I could not use it fully because I had to switch to USM. And at that time, the scholarship was only applied to SMCC, so there comes another conflict. And so I remember going to Claude and one of the other person that was assigned to me, and I tried to explain to them that all this money is for me, right? And they're like, yes, but unfortunately, you cannot move with it. I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. I was still young, so nothing made sense to me. So I advocated, and I'm like, but listen, it can really go to USM. We can do something about it. Thankfully, I was able to transfer to USM with a scholarship. And so I went to USM to further my education. I was in health science, and I was on a pre-med rack. So I went for biology and biochemistry. Originally, I wanted to be an OBGYN, which goes along with my personal testimony that I could share a little bit, if you may allow.
Sure, briefly.
Right, yeah, I promise. So after my mother had my brother, who is 9 years older than me, she encountered 9 miscarriages consecutively every year. And so in the late 90s, she went to France to see what was going on, and I had an uncle who was a gynecologist there. And so she did not know that she was pregnant. She was about 2 months pregnant. And so my uncle was like, all right, you could stay here and we'll try to do everything we can for you to have this baby. So thankfully, 6 months, her water broke, so she almost had another miscarriage, and she was bedridden for the rest of the pregnancy. And at 9 months, her gynecologist had gone on vacation, so the nurses there were forcing her to just let go of the baby so that her health will not be endangered. But my mother is Christian, so she held her faith onto God, and I was like, this baby's gonna be a success because I've never had a pregnancy go this far. And miracle baby here. So, yeah. Thank you. So in 2020, I also had the privilege to see my sister-in-law give birth, and I was in the delivery room with her, and she was under so much stress. She did not really speak the language, and her gynecologist was not present in the room, so everything was just so fast and rushed, and she was just saying yes to every medical treatment because she did not have a choice to choose what she wanted. And that to me kind of was a little weird because I was like, these women are very vulnerable and they need to be heard, they need to be listened to, but they don't have that choice, especially that they don't speak the language. So I kind of spoke with different women, and I'm like, how do you feel when you go into the delivery room? What's that experience to you? And most of them had midwives, and they told me how the experience is different because at Mercy Hospital there's an option to have a midwife. So from there, that's when I decided, I'm like, you know what? I like the idea of a midwife. It's not a popular career, but it's something that women can relate to. They want that person to be there with them, to walk with them into that career. So that's when I changed my career, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a nurse midwife. So, thank you. So, being known as the miracle baby in my family, I was able to be here and say, you know what, I'm gonna make a difference and bring a lot more miracle babies out here. So through ProsperityME and through donors like yourself, you're not only helping us miracle babies, but you're also helping the miracle baby bring a lot more miracle babies out there. So I wanna thank you so much for it. And sorry, it's a long answer, but I wanna mention that going back to USM, it was not easy because ProsperityME could only pay half, and I want to acknowledge somebody who also changed my life, the former president of USM, Glenn. Glenn is also, Yes, Glenn is also a very, very special person to immigrants at USM who do not qualify for FAFSA. So he also kind of finds grants to help us. So Glenn, thank you so much.
Yeah. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. It's truly wonderful because I feel like every panel that we have every year, we always get these wonderful stories coming from everybody, and I just want to say thank you for sharing that with us. And lastly, just what advice do you have for somebody who may find themselves in your shoes?
Advocate for yourself.
Very nice. Very nicely said. Thank you. I appreciate that. So on behalf of the ProsperityME team, our panel, and every recipient of our services, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude and appreciation to every individual who has contributed to our mission and vision. We see you. It truly makes a difference, and we cannot express just how much all that you do matters to so many people. Thank you for your attention. Can we get a round of applause for our panelists?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tara Jenkins, and I am the current board chair at ProsperityME. Very privileged and proud to be in that position. That was an incredibly inspiring panel with lots of amazing stories, and we on the board are able to hear a lot of those stories daily, weekly, monthly, as we're all coming together to support the staff and the team at ProsperityME. So hopefully you found those inspiring. There's a lot more of them out there, and we need your support, your continual support to continue to do the work that we do. I want to highlight that for myself, this has a very big meaning because I'm a second-generation immigrant myself, both Italian and Irish immigrant. And so the stories are different in my own family, but it's one of the reasons why I feel so passionate about working with ProsperityME and giving people many opportunities that we all have who've been here for a little bit longer, but still all of us are immigrants in some way. And so I'd ask for you to think about, many of you are already supporters financially, and all of you are supporters of this event. If there's any way that you can find any additional funding to share with us. You've seen some of the things that we've done with that funding over time. In particular, we're so proud of all the things that we did over the course of the last year, raising $2.2 million for the scholarship, Prosper Scholarship Program is an amazing accomplishment. Thank you. We couldn't have done that without the community. There is so much more need in the community that we know that we could serve with some additional financial support and stable financial funding. So anything that you can find in your heart and your pocket to share with us, it's really appreciated. And that's the only time we're going to ask this over the course of this event, because this is a block party. This is fun. This is going to be really awesome for the rest of the time, and we're going to have really fun together eating and sharing stories and getting to know each other better. And we really appreciate you thinking about anything that you may be able to give a little bit further for us. I'm really pleased to announce or invite to the stage Claude, and I want everyone to give him a huge round of applause because he so deserves it. Our fearless leader, Claude Berganger, is going to introduce the 2023 award recipients.
Mufalo and my wife were asking me if I'm going to speak. I said, I'm not speaking tonight because I don't have to, because these students and the member who just shared their stories are amazing. And they did everything that I could have said. But let me just share that the panel, you have done an amazing job to share your story with us. It looks like yesterday, seriously, when Ninette was in my class, learning financial literacy. She was a young girl, And I really was wondering what she was going to do without the parents here. But I wish the moderator asked them what they are doing right now, because it's amazing. Sometimes you don't understand what it means to be a director at United Way, to be a senior director at Bowdoin College, and to be on your second degree, as Julie shared. This is amazing. People always ask, what are the immigrants and asylum seekers doing? These are the product of those immigrants. If you want to see the future of Maine, these are the future of Maine. So, I really want to thank them for sharing their stories and doing an advocacy for other people who will be doing the same thing. So, again, I want to echo Quincy and also the board chair for thanking all of you for being here. It's a beautiful day. There's so many events, but you chose to be here with Prosperity Maine. For that, I want to thank you all. Now, every year when we come together, and again, I don't want to name anybody because I will leave somebody and not share the other person. All of you are special here, whether you are a leader in your company, whether you are a volunteer, whether you are staff, a board member, a sponsor, all of you, I just want to say thank you. Every year since 2012, we have given awards to organizations and individuals who are helping and going beyond in providing services or partnering with us in our organization. We have a Commitment Service Award, we have an Outstanding Community Partner Award, and we have Volunteer of the Year Award. But before I go there, I have something an announcement I want to make to you all. In 2021, Prosperity Maine embarked on a venture to do something we have never done since we were founded. We assembled a team. We started a scholarship campaign to raise about $2 million for scholarship for asylum seeker. We assembled a team of board members, volunteers, and others, and I told my board that I was going to do this on my own. They just laughed. I said, I can raise $1 million myself. I don't need anybody to help me. But I didn't know that a campaign is a little bit different than a regular, normal fundraising. If you haven't done a campaign, it's a different animal. So after a few weeks or few months, they told me, no, you cannot. And I realized myself I was not able to do that. We did hire consultant Bulmus to help us raise the money. So my big announcement that I have for you tonight, within a year and a half, Prosperity Maine board, the staff, and the consultant, and many volunteers who are here, were able to raise $2.2 million. Thank you. It wasn't easy, but I really say this to when we celebrated this achievement, and I want to repeat that tonight. I loved Maine one more time, and I felt welcomed in Maine through that process, because I met so many wonderful people who some of them never met me or never heard about ProsperityME. But when I shared the stories like what you heard tonight, they were quickly ready to write their checkbook and support us. That touched my heart. A man from Central Africa, a black person, not with an organization which is not unknown, known by some of them, but they were willing to support us. That really touched my heart. So, because of that, we are able to support so many other students. And I want to say that the 2.2 million came from board members. It came from individual donors, corporation, foundation, you name it. Don't ask me who those people, the good Samaritans. And some of them are here. Some of them don't want to be named. Others were doing this in public. But I want to just say thank you to all of you. This has extended how many scholarships we can give year after year. So with that, if people can remove these chairs here so we can bring the team. We have a few of the recipients of this year, and I want to call Sarah, our scholarship coordinator, to come on stage with all the wonderful students, those who are here present, to receive the awards. So I will ask Sarah, because she works, for those who don't know Sarah, she's the coordinator of the scholarship. She works with them. She's connecting with them. She knows them. I don't even know some of these people on the stage, to be honest. But she knows more than I can. So here we go.
Welcome all to the block party. Once again, this is a party. So let's try to be alive a little bit. Once again, thank you to all the donors, and as Claude said it is because of your donations and your kind heart that these wonderful individuals are going to be able to continue their education. So I'm tasked to giving them their certificate as an official representation of their scholarship. Are you guys excited? All right. I'm going to start with Esther Wanyuze. Barbara Mutale. Laura Zombo. Jean Bea. Don Diego Cabwa. Some of them, all our students, they not only go to school, but they are also working. Some of them take care of their families, so some of them were not able to make it tonight. But we want all of you to know who they are. So the next person is Esperance Ndutira. She was not able to make it tonight. Mignon Muberarugo. Charles Shamukiga. He was not able to make it either. Ngalula Artier. Mustafa Mukendi. Dali Kaneza. Thank you.
Thank you. As you heard, these are doing a different measure. They're going to be successful, and they're going to work with all of your businesses. Please, if you have a potential internship, look after these students. Once again, thank you. Oh, you may stay here. I'm sorry. So, I apologize. Because of that, this student would like to give an award, the first award, which is a commitment to service. And I'm going to read. A commitment to service award goes to an organization or individual that has demonstrated a commitment to serve our community in tough and a good moment. When we started the scholarship campaign, as I said earlier, I told the board I was going to do this, but it turned out that I couldn't do myself. That's when we hired a bull moose to lead us in this campaign. And the campaign was so successful, as I just said. With that, I want to recognize the bull moose and want you to help me put your hands together to ask Ronnie and Evan to come on stage so that the student can give them the award. I don't know where they are. So I wanted the student who was the recipient of the scholarship to give this award to the recipient so that they feel how hard these people worked and in doing this. So here we go. You can pass this off.
Ronnie and I are blown away by this award, and the reason we are is right here. In case you have been living under a rock, this is a very tough world. It's a particularly tough world if you happen to be black, and if you are not from the United States. I don't know if there are any Native Americans in the audience, I apologize, but the rest of us are all immigrants. And to have immigrants succeed the way these guys have succeeded is incredible. It's beyond belief. And we learned this in this effort. We learned that these are people who want to make the world better. And Tara, you'll accept my apologies for saying it again. If you've got more, give it, because they've earned it. Thanks.
Let me welcome Sherry, who represents Hannaford, our lead sponsor, to come here, join me on stage to pass the next award. You can take it out. In the last decade, or a decade and a half, ProsperityME created many partnerships with so many businesses, some of who are here and others who couldn't make it tonight. It makes harder every year to pick and choose who will be recognized. But tonight, I'm here to recognize the Seaport Credit Union for the outstanding partnership with ProsperityME. Jean, the CEO of Seaport Credit Union, and the Seaport have have been partners for over a decade and have trusted the community, the immigrants community, and the community feels welcomed when they go to them. When other businesses were running away from taking a risk to our new arrival, Seaport was welcoming them. And Seaport has never been shy of giving loans, even if it's risky, because they understand and they have trust in the community. When they built a branch on Forest Avenue, they created a community room and they gave me a key. I don't have any other key from anybody else other than the Seaport. They gave me a key and said, use the space as you see fit, even after the hours for the education of the immigrants community. Besides that, Gene was a member of our board and played different leadership role. And the last one he held at ProsperityME was a board chair, which he served for 2 years. I learned a lot from Gene, and I miss our lunch and breakfast in the morning when we had to update what's going on with the organization. He never went away, even as we speak. We are launching an individual development account program in which Seaport, again, will be partnering with us along many other partners who are here. I'm pleased to call Gene a great leader in the community. So please, help me to put your hands together to welcome Gene to come and accept this outstanding Community Partner Awards. You can give them.
I didn't realize I had a speaking part tonight, but so do we all agree that Claude is the center of the Portland universe? So years and years ago, Quincy, who was here earlier, I said, I'd like to get involved with the immigrant New Manor community. Who should I meet? And so she gladly introduced me to Claude, and that was the beginning of all the things that we do with the New Manor community. I did get involved with the board when it was community financial literacy, right? And it's grown to this wonderful organization doing amazing things, and I'm so proud of Claude and the whole team for all the things that they do. At Seaport, I'm also proud of these guys, our team. These are just a few of our employees. And actually, they make it all happen every day. We are just a financial institution, credit union, that community is really important to us. It's one of our core values. And as actually a first-generation immigrant myself, my mother was immigrated from Italy in 1939. And so that connected with me, and we just felt like, what can we do as a financial institution to make it easier for people from away to get established in Maine? And so it was a pretty simple idea, and it was, working with Claude and other people from the community. I think the key to our success in terms of serving the immigrant community is listening. Just remember that. I think if you just listen to what they have to say, what their needs are, what their problems are, it's easier to solve those problems and come up with solutions. So I would say these guys and the team at Seaport, that's one of our strengths, is finding solutions to problems, and it's been great for us. So in terms of serving the immigrant community, it's been a wonderful experience, and we continue to look for ways, like as Claude said, to do more so that we can support this such important community, the immigrant community, and it continues to grow, and it's so wonderful to see Portland the way it is today. I moved here in 1990, and for those of you that were here in 1990, we were a different city. It was not as vibrant. It was not as diverse. It's so much better today because of the immigrant community. So I just encourage you to continue to support them any way you can through any means that you know. And I'm just very proud and grateful for this honor tonight. So thank you.
Last but not least, let me welcome Felix Mutunzi, the CEO of Safe Residential Care, our planning sponsor, to come and give the next award. As I said again, in the last decade, we have seen, we have seen so many asylum seekers, refugees, and immigrants come to Maine. I'm sure Mufalo can say more of that. Many stakeholders who are here embrace the changes, and they welcome them in their businesses, their municipalities, or in their own homes. Kevin and Ellen never said no when we called them to help, for these people were struggling. In the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, they have hosted 3 different families. And before that, they even had a minor whom I saw here tonight, and she has a green card. So they're amazing. Among all many things they have done, the family, one thing that really touched my heart was a day when we were at ProsperityME. We had a woman who was 9 months pregnant, who was sleeping on the floor at the shelter. I have never experienced that myself, but I could see the pain, and she was sleeping on a chair while at the office. I'm talking about live person, I'm not talking about history. She was there, you could see the pain. And she was having a hard time going back to the shelter. I called Mufalo, I called everywhere where I could. Nobody really came to my rescue. I remembered one thing that Kevin and Ellen said, let us know if we can help. I called them. I said, I need a favor. They asked me, what kind of favor? I said, I have a pregnant woman who's almost 2 weeks due on her pregnancy. She needs a place to stay at least until we can find a place at the hotel. It did not take long, within 30 minutes. And I really said 30 minutes, Kevin was there with a car to pick up this woman. It did not stop there. When she went to the labor, guess who was there for her? Was Kevin and Ellen. I'm sure that today she's a part of the Carly family now, because She can come, she can call them, they can go see her where she is, and she has a beautiful apartment, but they helped her furnish that apartment as well when she moved out. Also, when I took my sabbatical in 2014, I moved to Texas temporarily, and Kevin stayed with the ProsperityME until I came back. In the 2021, when we started the campaign, I knew that I had to go find someone, my mentor, my coach, who could help me through this process. That was Kevin again. Kevin has volunteered for this organization for almost 10 years. And this is the first time he's been recognized. But I don't call Kevin a coach, I call him a friend. I can go to his house, his wife, his daughters, they all know me. I'm part of Kevin's family because of our relationship and because of what he has done and how he has opened his heart and the willingness to continue to support the families. As we speak, they have another family they took from the expo. A single mother with her daughter. I know some of you may wonder, where did these people went? We tried to figure out to find some host families. We interviewed maybe Quality Housing interviewed almost 40 people, but only few are like, I think 3 families, and Kevin being the first family again to host an immigrant family that they have today. He has made a difference. I don't think I have enough words to say about Kevin. Thank you. Put our hands together to welcome Kevin and come and get this award. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Claude, for those kind words. They mean a lot. One of the things we've worked on as a sort of advisor coach was brevity. And Claude's been an incredible student. There's one thing he struggles with. So I'm going to model that. But just say it's been really fun to have a ringside seat, watching you grow and emerge as a very effective executive director of a very important local organization, and more importantly, watch ProsperityME evolve into the organization that it is today, doing so many great things, scholarships, loans for security deposits, helping people with housing. I mean, a myriad of great programs that didn't exist, and it's really been your vision and your staff pulling that off. So I use the word ringside seat because it's a good metaphor, because it's been a bit of a circus at times, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm very pleased to have play a small part in it, and thank you so much for this award.
Thank you all. Now back to Tara. Thank you very much.
I'm very pleased to invite you to join us all for dinner at the conclusion of our event. I want to emphasize the importance of Claude's amazing leadership, and I think what Jean was saying around like the universe of Claude of Portland is really true, like that we're all like learning and growing and a part of the circus, as Kevin shared, and we're really grateful to Claude, and I just want to have us all give him a big round of applause for his leadership. Thank you so much for coming to our celebration and block party. And now please enjoy each other's company, eat lots of food, and have a lot of fun. And we thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Tara.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks a lot.